Hey, their trash is theirs and not yours. Oftentimes in life, the way people behave with us is nothing but a reflection of how we have let them treat us or behave with us, right? To give you a very small example, imagine, you have a neighbor and one day in the morning, surprisingly, they knock on your door and you open the door and you look at them, you smile, and you're being nice. So they say, I'm really busy today. Something's going on. Like maybe I have to go somewhere, do something. I have to pick my child from school or something, or I have to drop my child off to school, something like this. And so they say, hey, do you mind? Like they hand you a bag full of trash, right? It's their trash, and they say, can you please just discard this trash just for today. Kindly don't mind. I don't mean to give you a hard time. And you're like, okay, this is new, this is surprising. Let me just do a thing, let me just take this trash and discard it just for today. And so you favor them, right? You're favoring them, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And you're done with the day. So next day in the morning you wake up. So there's another knock on the door. You open the door. It's the same thing. Hey, can you please, and whatever. Can you please take my trash? Can you please take my trash? This continues for a very long time. And you are really, really, really tired of this. You're sick and tired of this. You're completely pissed with this behavior, with this person. But you're not saying anything because you're like, okay, you know they just think I'm a nice person, so they keep doing this. But if I give them a hard time, like if I give them a piece of my mind, and it'll be like it's going to ruin the friendly bond that we share. So you continue to accept their trash, right? Accept their trash. And one day, you know there's no knocking on the door, and you're like, but it's the same time. This is the time where every morning there's a knock on the door and then they hand me the trash. Why is there no knocking today? And then you go out, you open the door, and to your surprise, what you see is that your front yard, your front door is full of trash. There's so much trash littered here, there, everywhere. There's, your front yard is full of trash. Now you're like really surprised and you're angry about this. You're anxious, you're angry, you've had it this time, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And you can't make sense because till yesterday the person was nice, handing you the trash and everything, and you don't even know if you should doubt this person because who knows who this trash belongs to, right? And so once again the next day you just see the same thing, this trash just thrown carelessly at your door, and you're like, okay, what's going on? And then one day you happen to see this person, and that person sees you, but they quickly just move away. They give you a faint smile and just hide somewhere. They just run away. They run away from you. But every day you're seeing the trash. The person is not here, but the trash is continuing. And you're like, one day you wake up and you're done with this. You decided that this is the day that I've had enough of this behavior because I do not deserve this. I'm a nobody to keep favoring like this because what's happening is I'm only being taken for granted. There's no good for me in this situation. All the goodness, all the kindness, all the friendly behavior that I showed towards them, they have only been taking it for granted, and I've had it. I'm not going to do it anymore. And so you go, you collect all this trash. What you do is you just go and dump this trash right in front of this person's door, right? So this day, you're still standing on your front door and watching what's happening, around their house. So they come out and they're in disbelief. They're in disbelief. It's like, it's terrifying for them. They see that their front yard is full of trash, right? And they are like really angry. And now you're like, oh yeah, now you know how it feels. This is how it feels. And you've been doing this to me for a very long time. Just because I've been quiet, you've been taking my kindness for granted. Me accepting your trash was because I made a choice to accept your trash just that one time, and I've been nice to you, but you've been nothing but literal trash to me, right? So, the next day you wake up, you go out, so there's no trash this day. This day you find no trash, literally, there's nothing, your front yard is clean, and you're happy, you're relieved, neither is that person there to hand you the trash. And why did this happen? It's because one day you just decided that I have had enough. I'm not doing this anymore. It's a simple line. You just said, I'm not doing this anymore because I don't deserve this. You handed me the trash one day. I was kind enough to accept it and just discard it, but not every day. That everyday kindness just turned into taking your kindness for granted. And then people started to just throw trash around your house carelessly. They became careless. Why? Because they could take you for granted, because your behavior did not change. From day one to the probably the 10th day, you stayed the same way. You were like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow they're going to, ask me not to take the trash. Tomorrow it's going to change. But sometimes that tomorrow, that day, it never comes until you step up for yourself, right? So the moral of the story is simple. You, for the duration of the 10 days, right, you taught them how to treat you, how to behave with you, how much respect to give you, because they just went home happily, they laughed, they had their dinner, they slept, and you had to worry about cleaning your trash. you know that person just literally dumped their trash at your front yard and slept peacefully because they knew it is taken care of. Why? Because you were doing all the hard work, taking the trash out, cleaning everything, making sure, everything is fine. And many, many, many people in life do this in many different ways. And, there's a saying, right? You teach people how to treat you. This story is a simple example. For the duration of the 9 days or the 10 days, you always kept quiet. So that person kept on giving you the trash, and one day they figured out, okay, this person doesn't have a spine. He or she does not, ask me anything. So why am I even bothering about handing them the trash? Let me just throw the trash, the trash bag right from my front yard to their front yard. It reaches them easily, right? They didn't even make the effort to take those 10 steps as a neighbor to come and give you the trash. At least that was missing. They just started throwing the trash. And this is how it is. After a while, when you're quiet about something, people start to take your kindness, your acceptance for granted. They don't value it anymore because it's freely available for them. And because it's freely available for them, they always think that it's easy for them to play with you, it's easy for them to dominate you, it's easy for them to manipulate you and use you the way they want. And that's why they treat you a certain way. you know just as in the story, the 10th day you stood up for yourself and you said, okay, I've had enough, I'm going to give you the taste of your own medicine, and you threw the trash right at their door, right? So now that person knows how it feels, and they got to know that okay, this person had a limit. Their patience has run out. This person is not somebody that I should be messing with. I was the one that was wrong in the situation to assume that this person is never going to talk back, or this person is never going to stand up for himself or herself. I was wrong. I was the fool. I was the idiot here who just thought, okay, every day I'm just going to throw the trash and it's going to be fine. But it wasn't like that. You understand the story is also about your self-worth, how you allow people to treat you, because a lot of us are fools, right? We keep thinking, okay, today it's going to change, tomorrow it's going to change, today this person is going to show up, tomorrow they show up, today they're changing, tomorrow they're changing. But sometimes that tomorrow, that someday, it never arrives unless you step up and say, I've had enough, I'm not doing this anymore. Because you don't even seem to care, and I care about myself, and I have to take care of myself. Because you don't, you're not a person who cares, and I deserve love, care, attention, and all the good things. So I am going to end this nonsense here, and I'm going to take a stand for myself. And so on the 10th day of this trash collecting business, free business, you chose to take a stand for yourself, and you said, I don't like it. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I'm not the person that you think I am. When I accepted your trash, it was because I was kind enough, and I chose to take your trash because I was a good person. Yes, I waited for 10 days, not anymore, because I can clearly see that your behavior is only getting worse, and it is not going to change, or it's not getting any better. And I know I have to stand up for myself. The next time, if this behavior continues, if there is going to be trash on my front yard, this trash is going to be on your head. I'm going to dump it on your head. And you better be careful, right? So this person knows now not to mess with you. And they know that your self-worth and you value yourself very highly. Now they've learned that never to mess with you, and you have chosen to free yourself from the stupid trash collecting business, right? The free business. That's the Once again, that's the moral of the story. You treat yourself with self-worth, with respect, because when people are always treating you the same way, after a while they get used to your behavior. If you're always forgiving, they get used to it. Think of it as somebody that's always cheating, and you're always forgiving them, and then they start taking you for granted. They start treating you very badly. It's just because you have allowed this person to behave with you a certain way for a very long time, that now they have gotten used to it, and they think, okay, she or he is fine with however I behave, so I'm going to behave the way I want. But it's not but that's not how it's going to work, right? You have your own values, your own self-worth. I hope this message makes a lot of sense to you. If you are going through anything in your life, right, a certain behavior, a certain abuse, or anything, the moment you stand up for them yourself, and you show the mirror to the opposite person saying, damn dude, the only reason I was quiet all this time is because it was my choice to be quiet, to forgive you, to love you unconditionally. Not anymore. Next time you do this, the trash is going to be on your head, right? Treat yourself well. Just how you want to protect somebody that is very dear to you, you also have to love, care, and protect yourself as well, because you're 100% deserving of all of these good things. And I hope this makes sense to you, and I love you, and I hope only good things come to you. God bless you.